So one of my friends called Nico wanted to do some vocals on a track, and he didn't have a mic, so he asked me like, what's the best mic that I should buy and what's affordable. So I told him which one I had. But then I said, if you're gonna buy a mic, you're gonna need something called an interface, and that can get pretty pricey pretty quick. But that kind of reminded me, like, what did I start making music with, and what do you really need to get started, or just need it all? When I started taking music, well, like not obviously like more serious than I was before. So I started off making like, really, really bad beats using like the loops on GarageBand, so not making my own melodies. What I started with then was this computer here. I've had this computer for about 5 years. These headphones are the Sennheiser HD206. I don't know if you can see. I try and find a couple of photos of I think my setup, what I had earlier on, because it really wasn't much. I got this keyboard here, a R.E.C V25, so it's 25 keys, that's 2 octaves. This is pretty decent. As I learned to play different chords and got better at like using the pitch wheels and that, it obviously got like a lot more useful and I could see the point of it more. I think this was definitely a big, game changer. Instead of having to draw it in, I could just play it in, and it would also help me learn a bit more music theory. That was all good. So my dad had these speakers. He's had them for like a long time. Yeah, he didn't really like need them anymore or something. So he gave me those. They come with a stereo, so that you can like plug them into your phone or computer. So I just plugged them into the aux thing on the computer. I think that really stepped it up, because talk about referencing a mix, instead of just doing it on headphones and kind of getting locked into only hearing it on one thing, I could, take the best of both, you know what I mean? So if I heard something that was bad on the speakers, but that I wouldn't hear on the headphones, I could fix that, make it sound good. And I think it's just good having speakers. You can play it live and then really hear what's going on in your mix, and obviously the bass is a bit better on those speakers as well. That was about all I had in my old house before I started making videos. I got this mic because I thought I might as well have a go at making my own drum samples. I think I talked a little bit about it in my video about vocals, so yeah, you should go definitely check that out. You've probably seen this before. This is what controls like the volume, but what I didn't realize about the interface was that the sound also like comes out of the computer, so that took a bit of stress off the computer, having to go through the aux. So let me show you real quick. It plugs in from the USB, it goes round the back, comes in here, goes through all of its stuff. They go into one of the inputs at the back here, and then obviously goes through all the stereo and into each one of the speakers. The mic, you just plug it in to here, set your gain, and you're good to go. You don't need a record player to make music. Also, I'm into kind of like more vintage stuff, so I got a drum machine. This isn't like a really vintage one. But it's kind of, I'm sure you heard of the 808 drum machine and the 909. It's kind of like it's got the sounds from both. It's like a updated version. Obviously you don't need that, but I just thought it was a cool thing to have. But going back to the first question, and the first thing that I thought of, like, what do you really need to start making music? I'd suggest headphones much more than speakers to start off. And then if you want to step it up a bit more, or if you sing or play guitar, get an interface. I'd say headphones are the first thing, then the MIDI keyboard, get the interface, and maybe get like speakers whenever you can. Maybe you've made some money from selling beats or stuff, you can get some stuff to play with, like the drum machine or the record player, like that. I'm probably not the guy to talk about software, and you'll see why in a moment. Yeah, software, that's just plugins, because obviously you need Logic or whatever DAW, like FL Studio you got. I don't tend to use that many like plugins. Obviously you can see some of the ones I've used like here just to add in some extra sounds. But in terms of like instruments, all of these ones are free here, apart from this one, the Sector synthesizer. And the only reason I got it, I wouldn't have got it, I think it was about $10, down from like 40. Because it was a Black Friday thing. As for the audio effects stuff, none of them cost any money. All of these ones you can get here are free, and that's why I like it when I'm doing the videos. Everything that I use here you can easily go and download, so it doesn't get like too complicated. And some of the ones are decent. Like this is a super This one, Labs, is very atmospheric. Lots of different presets, so that's good. If you were wondering like what stuff I've got accumulated over the year and a bit that I've been making music and what kind of plugins I use, free ones. I think next I've got, next I've got a good one coming. That's another Beats on Lockdown episode 5. That's a really good one, so definitely subscribe so don't miss that. Tuesday 8 PM. I'll see you there.